Hi everybody, my name is Faiz and I am one of the support escalation engineers in the SQL developers team. Actually, our team, we support the SSIS package, and as Lorenzo was saying that we, after some discussion, we decided to go for delivering a couple of triages on basic understanding of the SSIS package, and the second session will be on basic troubleshooting of the SSIS packages. You all know that SSIS package has been configured as SQL Agent job with the FEP products, and that also copies the data from the config database to the data warehouse, as Lorenzo mentioned. After our discussion, we found that at least there will be few benefits of doing this. Number one benefit, I see that like Lorenzo said, that if you can do some basic understanding and basic lookup of the things around that area when the job fails, that way it will give the customer a comfort that some works are going on while you will be looking for the engineer from our team. That is one thing. And another thing is when you will be doing the collaboration with our team. Actually, in the SQL team there are multiple sub teams. SSIS package also underlying uses some other technologies in the SQL area, which is supported by some other sub-team. So what I'm trying to say here, if you understand the basics of the SQL Server Agent jobs and the basics of the SSIS package, that will help the collaboration area. You will right the way you will be able to engage one of the sub-teams inside the SQL, and that will help to resolve the customer issue in a very fast way, so which ultimately provides a great customer experience. So this is the motivation here, and after discussing with Lorenzo, and I also had some past experience of working with your team in the crit-set situation. So based on that, Lorenzo and I decided, okay, if we go for two sessions, one is for basic understanding around the package and job, and another next session will be the basic troubleshooting and how to do all these things. So there's the plan here. So today is going to be the first session, and the second session will be in next Monday. So today's session we are going to I'm going to talk about the basics about the SSIS package and the SQL Agent job. So I prepared few slides, and I'm also going to demo or show you how you can check some of the things, so that way we can utilize that information and or that knowledge in our next session. So let's go to the next session. Just regarding the a quick note about the SSIS package and the SQL Server Agent job. Probably by this time many of you know that the SSIS package basically the SSIS is a product that comes with the SQL Server. And the package basically is the unit of work that is executed, and you can save and you can move around, manage all these things. And we all know that you can automate the execution of that package by using the SQL Server Agent job. In our case, the FEP product that you already installed, customer already installed or configured, that includes some of the SSIS packages and that are configured as SQL Server Agent job. And Agent job, which is a feature of the SQL Server that is used to schedule administrative tasks, which can be executed in a particular time of the day or week or so on. And SQL Server Agent basically uses the SQL Server itself to store the job information. Normally it stores the job information in the MSDB database. That is not super important for you guys to know, but the important thing is the job can contain one or more job steps. I think in one of your jobs I noticed there are 7 steps over there, so there could be one step or multiple steps, and each of the steps contain its own task, and that task could be one of the steps that that task could be our SSIS package. So that's the last point I mentioned over here, that a job step can run an SSIS package, and when we configure the job, the type of the step is the SQL Server Integration Services package execution. We will see that in the later slides and in the demo. Now, in the second slide, actually, I thought that we'll go for creating a job quickly manually, so that way you will have some better understanding, and it will give you some confidence that okay, how we know that the FEP, the product that when you installed and or configured, at that time it has created the job with that the SSIS packages that comes with the product too. So that happens automatically. I'm not sure if you guys get some issue in the installation. Maybe so the creation of a manual job with the demo area, that will give you some kind of understanding. I'm sure that some of you already know it. And another point, when we will be creating the job, another thing we have to keep in mind, that the proxy account. The proxy account is the account under which the security context which runs the job step. And if when we configure the job, if there is a option for run as, over there it shows the list of the accounts that can be selected to run the job. The reason this is important, the proxy account or the under which account the job is running, from our experience we have seen this is one of the problematic area, because if we configure the Windows authentication to connect to the the database, in our case it is going to be the configuration database or the data warehouse, and if the proxy account which we are using that does not have enough permission in the SQL Server area, there is a possibility that job might fail. So that's why this is one of the things we need to keep in mind. So I think that we can go for quickly creating a job manually. So let me bring my management studio over here. You guys can see my SQL Server Management Studio here, right?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay, good. So over here, when I'm not going to show you how to connect the SQL Server, SQL Server instance using the Management Studio, but once you are connected to the SQL Server instance, maybe in our case, our configuration instance or the warehouse instance, it will connect to like this way, and underneath that there will be SQL Server Agent. Over there, if we look at the jobs under the SQL Agent, so over here you guys all the times you guys see your several jobs that has been configured by the FEP. So in my machine, actually I didn't have that product installed, so I do not have that. But what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how you can manually create a job that that was done by the FEP when you did the installation. So another thing also, most of you noticed that if you connect to the integration services on the same machine, then you see that some of the packages are stored in the MSDB database, and these packages actually you are pretty much familiar with that. So using this package, the job has been created. So if we go for creating quickly a new job, then that way, say give me a second. I'm going to take the name from here and going to give say test underscore. This is my job name. The important thing is the job step over here that we are talking about before. So if we go to the job step and create a new, over here I think we can give some name, but in the FEP case, it has given a good name. And two things I like to mention over here, that as I said over here, there are some options that also one of the options is SQL Server Integration Services package. If we want to run in the step a SQL Server Integration package, then we have to select that step. And second step, the proxy account that I was talking about, this is the list of the proxy account. Actually, before, little earlier, I created one, so that's why it is showing over here. And there is a SQL Server Agent service account. So if I select this one, the job which is running the SSIS package, and in the package, if we have configured the Windows Integrated Authentication, which this is the account it will use to connect to the config database and the warehouse database. So, and I also noticed that the package that included in the FEPs, at least one package I was looking at this morning that showed that it is using the Windows authentication. So this is one of the areas that we should remember. So in this case, let's select that one, and the package store. In the FEP's case, our packages are stored in the MSDB database, so we have to we know that where is that the SQL server which is running the storing the package. So that is the SQL server we have to mention over here, so that way it will show the list of the packages over there. So in our case, just I'm going to take a name of the SQL server in my case. So just I'm copying and pasting. Then in the job step, I'm just giving that SQL server name over there. So, and then over here it will show me all the basically this is showing these are the two packages I have right now. So I'm going to select one of the packages over here. So this is the package I want to use in this step of this job. So if I click on the OK, so step 1 is showing over there, and then some other options are there. Scheduling, I think you can create any what time you want to run this job, etc. These are the things are showing over there. So I am not going to spend too much of time just to show you that what the setup of the FEP has done. So if I click on the OK button, so now I see that I have a job by this name, and if I go to the properties, I can go back to that area over there. So this is the way FEP has created multiple jobs with multiple steps, and like I said, that job can contain one step or multiple steps. So if you want to create another step, you can click on the new button, and you can go for creating another step over there. So in our case, I noticed that one of the jobs has 7 steps over there, and out of 7, 3 of them are running SSIS package. Wanted to mention, show you over here that step. If I go to editing steps and the run as this proxy account. So since this proxy account is used to connect to the outside database, so we have to keep in mind. So I'm going to quickly show you that how that proxy can be created. In case if you think that that proxy which is used to run the SSIS package is not doing its job, then in the SQL server we can quickly create another proxy. So that proxy actually it is we can quickly create under over here, just 2-step process. And another thing, we have to create first a new credential. So say test. I'm going to give the test, and over here if you click over there, then you get a chance. North America, I'll use mine. So this is basically an account. I think proxy account is basically an account, domain account that we can use over here. So I know my password and confirm password. Yes. So now this is our credential, test credential. Now the proxies is shown under the SQL Server Agent area. So here is the proxy. We are planning to use the SSIS package execution. So if you right click over there, I can create a new proxy over here, set test proxy, and then I can use that credential that we used a little earlier, so which is test. So over here, so test is over there. So over here we are going to use this proxy with the SSIS package. Sometimes people also use operating system. We will talk about that in our next session. So for now, if we can create a proxy by that name. It is not showing over there, probably it didn't refresh. I think if we refresh, we have the test proxy over there. Now if we go back to the job that we created over here and see the properties and go back to the steps, edit step, over here we have the option of selecting that test proxy. If we have to do that, so we can do this way. So this is one of the problematic area from my experience in troubleshooting the SSIS package that is running in the job. So that's why we spend a little bit of time over here. Next slide is basically managing the SSIS package. I think this area you guys are already doing because in the previous slide and previous demo we saw that how to see the packages and where they are sitting. So a few of the things I thought that we should keep in mind. Number one is we know that package is the unit that can be saved and that can be run in the SSIS. So the package can be saved in the MSDB database that we saw, and the table name is SSIS packages. You can save the package to the file system too. We will see that in future. And you can view packages using the Management Studio that we have already have seen, and packages saved in MS database can be copied into the file system and vice versa. Meaning, you can copy the package from file system to database table and back to the file system too. Now the last point, you may need to copy a package out to the file system for troubleshooting. In our FEP case, all the packages are sitting in the MSDB database. So if the job fails and if we think that we need to investigate that which component is failing, then we need to copy that package out of the file system. So that is the thing we are going to do in the demo. Probably many of you already know that how to do that, but still I think just quickly we will do that. So let me bring another instance of Management Studio. So this is my Management Studio, and if I connect to the integration services over here, one quick note over here. So when we try to connect to the integration services for viewing our packages, we have to keep in mind that integration services does not have any instance, so they go by the machine name, number one, and number two is the authentication is always Windows authentication. These are the two things we have to keep in mind. And if we click over there, then it is connected to my local integration services. Now like I was saying that we can have a look at using the where is my packages. So packages can be stored in the file system. Packages can be in my case, I have one package in the file system, but normally in our FEP case, the packages are sitting in the MSDB database. So this way we can see over here. But the important thing is, if the job fails, then like I was saying, that we have to bring a copy of the package outside of the integration services, so that we can investigate the package and we can test running the package outside of the job to make sure it works, etc. We will talk about that more in our next session. So what I'm going to show you right now in the demo, that how to export a package to the file system. So what I'm going to do So I'm targeting to export the package in this location in my local machine, which is under D drive. So right now there is nothing over there. We are going to export this package. So this is our actually original package. So if I export, so if I right click over there, so this is give me some options. One of the options is export package, so I'm going to export that and I'm going to select. This is required for our troubleshooting purpose. We are basically in the process of, getting a copy of the package outside of the integration services. Looks like it's taking a little bit of time because this package has some configure, the connection manager defined, maybe pointing to some servers. That server it is not finding, so it is taking some time. So over here, so I'm going to select the file system, and because my intention is to bring a copy to the file. So over here, if I click over there, so under the D drive, I have so. This is the folder I'm using for this, so I'm just selecting this guy. So if I save over here, if I click, it will bring a copy of the package to the file system, so that in the next session we can use that package to investigate its component inside. So while it is taking some time to copy, I believe that it will take, okay, so it's in fact done. And if I look over here, that under that particular folder, now I see that I have a package that is out of the integration services sitting on my file system, and the package, as you know, that the extension is .dtsx. Next slide is going to be the SSIS packages in bits. You may or may not familiar with this tool. BITS is basically Business Intelligence Development Studio that is installed when you install the SQL Server. It is the optional install. The one thing we have to keep in mind when we will be dealing with the customers issue, that many of the customers in their production environment, they do not install the bits by default in the production machine. So if you do not see that option, so then probably we have to use another machine of the customer where they have the bits installed. So when the bits is installed, it is basically integrated with the Visual Studio. And if the Visual Studio is not installed, still we can use the bits. That should be fine. But another thing we have to keep in mind, bits is a 32-bit tool. Even sometimes it causes some confusion when we run bits on a 64-bit version of the machine. Now this tool is used to develop the SSIS packages, and I think some of you may know that not only it used to develop the SSIS packages, but it can be used to develop the analysis services project, reporting services project, etc. So in our case, we are going to use this tool to open the package that we exported out of the integration services. We will open inside that tool so that we can see that some of the the components, what it is doing, and particularly which component is failing. So that way we will be able to narrow down the area where our issue is lying. And second thing, some of the features of the bits, probably that Solution Explorer, SSIS Designer, SSIS Menu, and integration services project properties, 32-bit, 64-bit area causes some issue. There is a variable window. We are going to see all of these in our demo. So one thing, in the customer's machine, say for example, we are looking at the customer's machine, and if we go to the SQL Server, the programs, all programs. So under that, if the SQL Server is installed, we are going to use the SQL Server 2008 R2. If the bits is installed, you will see this, this option over here, SQL Server Business Intelligence Development Studio. If you do not see it, then we can fairly assume that customer did not install this component with the client tools. So if we click over there, so in my machine I have Visual Studio installed, so it is got integrated with that. So in our case we are going to so if we go back to the slide, that our demo is, we like to bring a package inside the bid, so that way we can see the component. So our intention is to bring bring a package inside the bits. So I would recommend that you open the bits by going to the all programs, and then we will create a little test project, and the project type would be the business intelligence project template, and the template we will use the integration services project. And I'm going to put that in my demo folder over here. So understanding basics, package and bits. I'm going to put over there. You can change the name, but I'm going to keep the same name over here. So if I click OK, then it is basically, it has created an integration services project with a sample package. I think I can we can delete it because it's a test package. We do not need it. But our intention here is to bring our package, which is we exported out of the integration services. This is our package that we are going to bring inside our test project here. So like I was saying that that in the PowerPoint I just mentioned that some of the things, the features, Solution Explorer, SSIS Designer, if I bring that over here, no, let's do one thing, then I'll talk about that. That way it will be more clearer to you guys. So if we want to bring our package, if we right click over there, it is giving me an option of adding an existing package. So if we select that, then it is giving us from where I want to get the copy of the package. Another thing probably some of you notice, we could directly bring the copy of the package from our SQL Server because the option is there. But I kind of intentionally didn't do that because I wanted to bring the package over here, so that way in next session when we will be talking about the troubleshooting, I wanted to run the package from here using a command window even outside of the bits. So that's why kept over there, but the option is there. If you like to, you can bring the package directly, a copy from the integration services by selecting the SQL Server option. But in our case, since we have a copy over here, I'm going to select the file system, and then I can select the exported package that we did over here. So this is the package I'm selecting over here. So if we click OK, it is taking a little bit of time because it is doing some validation for the connection managers defined in the package, and I do not have those servers, the config database, etc. So that's why it's taking some time, but ultimately it will come. So just I'm just ignoring this error because this is it's a known thing because I do not have this data sources. So I added over here the package. Another thing I'm going to do, which is just sitting over there, but you don't probably have to do that in the customer's environment because customer's environment will have those servers available. But in my case, since it does not have, so I just said that okay, work offline so that you don't need to connect to the data sources. If I double click on this package over here, this is the package which is inside the bits now. If I double click over there, it will be opened in the bits. So then after that we will talk about some of the things. And let me know if anybody has any question in the meantime. Okay, so the error is because I do not have this thing. Okay, so now the package is opened over here. Some of you, I believe that you have already seen these packages before. So here, now let's talk about that. Some of the features of the bits: the Solution Explorer, SSIS Designer, SSIS Menu. Solution Explorer, I think many of you are familiar with these things. So, the solution, under the solution there is a project, SSIS project. Under the project we have our package over here. Then the designer area, probably you do not need to focus on this too much, because design has been done by our FEP product team. So they use this thing, but in order to investigate the components, probably some of the things we need to know here, which is we have the control flow over there. We can add the task. All these are the components, basically each of the tasks, and happen to be, with this symbol or the icon, this is a data flow task, and data flow task is used to copy data from one system to the another system. In our case, we are doing config database to the warehouse database. Now, another is the details of the data flow task are shown in the second tab, which is the data flow task over here, and we also have some more tabs over there, event handler, that people use to control the flow of the package, but in our case it's not that super important at this point. And package explorer also can be used to view what are the components we have. But in our case, I would say that control flow and the data flow, these are the two areas we will be using to investigate our components. So these are the the area they are calling the design area. And another thing is the menu. When we are dealing with the SSIS package, that time you will notice in the SSIS project type we have an SSIS menu that's shown on the top. So this is the menu we use to. The package might have the logging option, package might have the configuration, digital signing, variables, all these things. So around here, I'm not sure that if we will have to use a lot over there, but except the connections, all the associated connection managers with a particular package are shown in the connection manager area. In this case, in this package, we have 5 connection managers. So connection manager, basically it defines the connection information which is required to connect to the data source. In our case, we will connect to the config database and as well as the data warehouse database. So if I just double click on one of the connection managers over here, so that gave me a pop-up box over here. So this is pretty quite important area for us, because the troubleshooting, when we will be doing the troubleshooting, it is very important that which server we are connecting and how we are connecting, which database we are connecting, etc. So number one area is the provider it is showing. I think you don't need to worry about too much. This is showing over here. If I click over here, you notice that there are multiple options and multiple. Let me put a quick comment around the connectivity area. In our case, normally we are going to connect to the SQL Server config database and the warehouse database, which is also a SQL Server. So SQL Server can be connected in a multiple ways, meaning it can be connected using the ODBC driver. It can be connected using the OLEDB provider. OLEDB provider, there are multiple providers. One is a native provider, another is a snap provider, etc. Probably you have heard, those are basically the underlying component helps us to connect to the SQL Server. And also in the .NET world, many of you know that .NET has a SQL client that can be used to connect to the SQL Server too. So so don't be confused by looking at all the different options, but one of the things here I see that .NET provider, SQL client, data provider, meaning we are using the .NET provider that comes with when you install the .NET framework on the machine, and that is, I believe that in our case it is done by the FEP product at the time of installation. If it is already not there, I'm sure that it does that. And second thing, the database server name, we can get this information from our customer that, okay, where is your configuration database? And another thing is a FEP DB ADO.NET. That also, at this point, I do not know that if it is a configuration database or if it is a warehouse database, but we can. I'm sure that you guys will be able to understand this thing from the customer. And another thing is Windows use Windows authentication. This is where we talked about the proxy account. Since this package will run as a job, so that proxy account is coming into the picture because we are using the Windows authentication. So under which security context we will be running the package, that account will be used to connect to the SQL Server. And another option over here that we can make sure. Sorry, by mistake I clicked over there. It's not going to work in my case. But one thing here, while it is trying to throw the error, we have the multiple connection managers over here. We should make sure that all the connections to the whatever the data source defined in the connection manager, that if we click on the test connection, that should be successful. If it is not successful, then that will help us to do the troubleshooting in a particular direction, meaning from our SSIS server we cannot connect to the to our data source, which is configuration database or whatever is the database over there. Another thing is the package, I was saying that we have under the control flow tab, we have multiple tasks over there. One of them is data flow task and some other task type too. You see that execute SQL task. That can be a task too. Now, in data flow task is a particular type of task that copies the data from one source to another data source. And if I double click over there, or we can directly go to the data flow tab, so that way we can get that what is the details about that data flow task. So that data flow task in our case normally it will copy data from one table to the another table. And how does it do that? It uses the connection managers over here. Connection manager is the the object that encapsulate the connection information to connect to the data. So if I double click on the one of the sorry, let me tell another thing over here. So this is basically everything consists every components over here that basically part of the the data flow task. So in our case, if I go back to the since I double clicked over here, so that directly took me over here. So this is basically the component part of that particular data flow task. So in somehow, if we can determine that this data flow task is failing, that we will be able to do that by running the package outside of the job very quickly. That I will show you in the next session. But say in our today's session, say we know that this is the component is failing. Then we double click over here, then we can if we double click on this component, it will show us little more detail. Say for example, we are able to narrow it down, this component is failing. Then I double clicked on that, and that popped up this screen over here. We clearly seeing some of the things number one thing we are seeing the which connection manager it is using. So in our case, we are seeing FEP DB underscore OLEDB, and we have that connection manager over here. So, few things we can do. Number one is we can make sure that we can connect to this data source over there. And second thing, we are seeing that it is trying to run a SQL command over here. So that command we have to we can determine over here. Maybe in another of the component you might see that it is trying to run some table or view or something like that. But in our case, it is trying the SQL command. So there is a, the main difference is, if we select the table or view, then we get the chance to select the view or table, so that, oops, again I made a mistake, sorry, I clicked over there. But in our case, the main point here is we saw that it was running the SQL command, and SQL command is normally used to run the, in the SQL world, you can run some select statement. We got the error because we know the connection manager is not finding the data source, which is expected anyway. So let me put it back, the SQL command. So SQL command, in this case, it is looks like the SP store procedure. Normally the convention when the the SQL server developer, they develop some component, they normally use the naming convention like that. So by looking at that, we can make a little guess that it is running an store procedure. You can also type some, select the column names and from table. That also works over here. So, like I was saying, say, imagine that we are getting some error around this area, and then we know that this component was trying to run the store procedure, and somehow it is failing. So is it failing to connect, or is it failing because the store procedure is not running? So the connection test, we can open the connection manager and test it, and if we can also copy this store procedure and open the SQL Server Management Studio and try to run manually from there and make sure that if store procedure runs or not. That we will see in the next session. So that way we can get to the bottom of the issue where the failure is happening, and once we know that root cause, then hopefully there will be a fix for that too. So that's all around this area today, but today I'm going to show you another little thing, the project property that I little bit talked before. This project property is little bit important here, since we loaded our package inside the Visual Studio, and Visual Studio is a 32-bit tool, but in this case, we are running that Visual Studio in on a 64-bit machine. In my case, I am running on my 64-bit Windows 7 machine. Now, some of the package might have a component like this, a component, or maybe the customer is running the whole package in a 32-bit mode. In the SQL, in the agent job, they are running everything is 32-bit mode. So from our troubleshooting purpose, if we need to be consistent, then we also should run this package inside the bits in a 32-bit mode in case we need to run the package. So that if we go to the properties of the integration services project, we have the option over here, the debugging option. Under the debugging, I just clicked over here. There is an option for run 64-bit runtime equal to true. What does it mean? By default, it is true. True means, although the bits is a 32-bit tool, but if we try to run the package inside the bits, it will run in a 64-bit mode because I am running the whole thing on a 64-bit Windows. So, like I was saying, if we need to troubleshoot the customer's issue in a 32-bit mode, and we want to be consistent in all the times in a 32-bit mode, so then we can make it false. If we make it false and click on the apply, and then if we run the package, the package is going to run in a 32-bit mode, although everything we are doing in a 64-bit mode. So for the troubleshooting purpose, this is one of the things we need to keep in mind. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the next session again.